Welcome to A Better HR Business, the podcast that looks at how HR consultants and HR tech firms grow their businesses and how they help their employers to get the best out of their people. Remember, for show notes and downloads, go to www.getmorehrclients.com/podcast. That's getmorehrclients.com/podcast. Okay, let's get started.
Thanks for joining me again. Nice to have you along. I am flying solo today to talk about something that I get asked about quite often, and that's the old specialist versus generalist question. And that could be for a solo person, for a consultancy, even for an HR tech business or a large consulting firm. That question of, should we be specialists or should we generalize and cover a wide range of areas? And that boils down to, do I have to specialize? And no, you don't. It's a free world, but it certainly helps. And the reason is that there are so many large generalist firms, companies, consultancies, HR tech firms, service firms out there. And do you really want to go head to head against them if they're well funded or they've already got a massive operation, large headcount, offices all over the world? Who knows? Do you want to go head to head against them as a generalist versus another generalist firm that has already got the wide range of clients and the logos on the website and that reputation? So it's very difficult to go for them in that way. And so specializing is a way of getting around that problem by narrowing in on an area of focus where, if you think back to that hedgehog principle, I think it was Peters, was it? I've forgotten who wrote the book, the famous book about the hedgehog principle. But the hedgehog is good for one thing. It rolls up into a ball with a spike sticking out. That's its form of protection. It doesn't try to outrun or outfight other animals. It knows what its core strength is, and that's the hedgehog thing. The way you can create a strength is to specialize and then build around that. So any marketing, any promotions, any advertising, any speeches you give, any videos you make, any LinkedIn posts you make are all on the same thing. And that gives you that strength and that specialization. And there are lots of different ways you can specialize. The ones that you probably are aware of are industry and roles, and one that's lesser known would be the use cases. So I'll give you some examples in just a minute. But industry is obviously financial services or healthcare or whatever it may be. Roles is what type of role are you supporting within an organization? And then use case, lesser known but really, really powerful, is where you're dealing with a particular situation, a pain point, or a use case as it's called, and then you focus on that sort of area. And what I often do with clients to help them work this out is where we use revenue as a bit of a guide. So there are all sorts of factors, and what are your strengths, preferences, your track record, what can you talk to comfortably, all these sort of things that you will take into account in a bit of a matrix. But a handy column to add to that matrix is often revenue. So if you've got a series of clients or customers, you can work out from the revenue which particular either industries, roles, use cases either bring in more revenue or they enable you to get the foot in the door sooner as an entry-level service or product. From there, you can land and expand, as the phrase is known. So revenue can be a way of working out where that particular niche or specialization may lie. So let's have a look at some examples then from the three big ones that I mentioned: industry, roles, and use cases. And I'm going to take these from the podcast, of course, because they're just wonderful guests. So from the industry side of things, the first name that springs to mind, Alison Clegg. She runs High Ridge HR, and that's an HR consulting firm that specializes in helping the insurance and financial services industries. So if you're a healthcare business owner or if you run a supermarket and you contact her firm asking for some HR advice, they will say, no, we're not going to help you with that. We may know some other people who can do it and we'll refer you. But no, we specialize in insurance and financial services industries, and we're the best at it. So you need to come to us if you're in that field. So playing to the core strengths. Rachel Barker, another person, freelance project manager and administrator with HR specialism in performing arts. So she's got a background and a love of the performing arts sector. And so that's where she focuses and specializes. On the HR tech side, there's Ward Chrisman and the HR tech advisor team. They focus purely on connecting HR tech companies and consultancies that will connect with HR tech and SaaS companies. All about the partnerships in that HR tech sector. So not healthcare, not financial services, not consumer products, the HR tech world, and playing to that strength there. Some of the use cases side of things, we've got Catherine Mattel-Sundell of Civility Partners, and rather than being a generalist firm, they focus on workplace behaviour, so harassment, discrimination, those sort of things, whether problems or if they want to improve the workplace cultures because of something related to that, you need to be going to Civility Partners. And they're doing phenomenally well, that business, largely due to two factors: that the people they've got there, the team under Catherine's leadership, and then of course their very strong focus and expertise on that area. Another good one, Jamie Getgood of The People Shift, and their focus is purely on redundancy process coaching and support. So if a business needs to manage redundancies, The People Shift is where you head for the advice, the coaching, the support. And that's why they're growing so quickly, because they've got such a clear focus on that. Helen Armstrong and the Silver Cloud HR team, they focus on HR tech selection. So an employer, if they try to decide what type of HR tech to implement, they will contact Silver Cloud HR there in the UK. Johnny Byrne, he will help you design an online course. So his focus is on helping people, particularly consultants, to create their online course. Shauna Moran of OperateRemote.com. I still secretly think that she was responsible for the global pandemic, because her business helps companies go remote and work remotely. So she helps companies grow a remote work business. And so I joke, but her business has grown phenomenally because she had launched prior to the pandemic taking off, and she helps businesses deal with it. So it's a wonderful case of a use case, helping to grow and strengthen your own business. Cynthia Deeren, one of my guests, her focus is helping businesses expand overseas. So it's not a domestic focus or how to add new product lines or improve customer service. No, it's how to expand overseas. And that's she's known as an international expert on that as a result, because that's what the business focuses on. Nova Omana, HR tech selection in the States, so helps companies work out what HR tech they need, and that's his focus and that's his area of expertise. Fascinating guy, lots of great stories, and that is his core focus. David Warren, fascinating guy in the employee relations space. He focuses on the employee relations, the / industrial relations. You should have a listen to that episode. I think it's episode 20, by the way. He has a really interesting business where he helps investors do due diligence on particular companies before they invest in them from the industrial relations perspective. Nigel Cliff of Value Exchange. His entire focus is helping consultants and business owners perform better on LinkedIn and get more business as a result of it. So he doesn't talk about TikTok and all these other things. No, he just sticks with LinkedIn, and that's why he's growing so well. Christina Jones, she's a very experienced person in the world of HR, but her focus is reward consulting. So you've got your comp and benefits. If you want an employee handbook done, you don't go to Christina. You go to her if you need salary benchmarking or total compensation reward plans built out. That's the person you go to. And so she's built a strong reputation for her knowledge and expertise in purely this area. And so she'll get more referrals and grow the business that way. And then the other aspect that I mentioned was focusing on roles. So not by industry, not by use cases, but by the job type, the roles. So for instance, Jane Ferrer specializes in career coaching purely for senior HR professionals. So senior HR professionals is her focus. Hisham Azuz of Recruitment Mentors, his focus is on helping recruitment consultants perform better in their job, grow better recruitment desks, recruitment firms, but purely on recruitment consultants, so the role. One Circle, that's the HR platform built out for finding HR consultants and HR support That was episode 44, and Emma there has built out a fascinating business and team there where they focus purely on the HR project work and support there. So it could almost be called an industry or a sector, but yeah, it focuses on that particular field. And then lastly, of course, Jamie Martin, a B2B sales guru, and his focus is on helping B2B people, so consultants and business owners, make more sales, generate more revenue through better sales process and techniques and knowledge. And so his focus is purely on the B2B sales side, and that's why he's growing so well and the business is expanding at a rapid rate. So to recap, industry, roles, use cases, they're the big ones that people would use to specialize their business. And you don't have to do it. It's not a rule. It's not a prerequisite or anything like that. It just does make life a bit easier. If you're not going to do it, then I highly recommend that you seek to segment your business when it comes to providing information. Don't just talk in a general way. Try to talk, whether it be your website or social media content or whatever it may be, try to talk about your services and offerings segment by segment rather than just whitewashing with a generalist offer. Okay. So they're my thoughts for the day. I suggest you do consider the benefits of specializing rather than generalizing. But as I say, both are entirely possible. There's nothing stopping you. It just probably makes life a little bit easier. Something to think on anyway.
Thanks for joining us today on A Better HR Business, the podcast that explores the world of HR consulting and HR tech businesses. For show notes and downloads, go to www.getmorehrclients.com/podcast. That's getmorehrclients.com/podcast. Remember to subscribe and share the show with any friends who are busy growing a HR business. Thanks, and see you next time.